This is a big day for No Labels because we are announcing today that No Labels has filed a formal complaint with the United States Department of Justice regarding an alleged unlawful conspiracy to subvert Americans' voting rights and shut down the organization's effort to secure ballot access in the 2024 presidential election. What's happened is that last week we authored and transmitted a detailed 8-page letter to the Department of Justice, sent it to Kristen Clark, Assistant Attorney General for the Civil Rights Division, Nicole Argentieri, Acting Assistant Attorney General for the Criminal Division. And what we did is we outlined our complaint in detail. And we also discussed in detail the evidence we have developed that we believe supports our allegations of what's going on here. And we have requested a formal investigation into the matter by the Department of Justice to get to the bottom of this once and for all and to determine if laws have been violated based on the evidence that we have presented to the Department of Justice.
Digital technologies mainly have an analytical power. Now we go into a predictive power, and we have seen the first examples, and your company very much involved into it. But then the next step could be to go into a prescriptive mode, which means you do not even have to have elections anymore because you can already predict, and afterwards you can say, why do we need elections? Because we know what the result will be.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to
Yo, boy.
Got my Dr. Savage going on, boy.
Oh man, we got the Pikeys.
Giddy up, boys.
Oh my God. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. It is our Friday, your Thursday. This is the last day of the week for us. We give you Friday off so you can decompress from all the politics and have some family time. My name is Wayne Dupree. Let me introduce the Godfather of Conservative Radio, Mr. Hutch Bailey Jr.
Hello, everybody. Glad to be here. Got some comments in a minute about the opening, but we'll get there.
And oh yeah, yes we do. And then we have Mr. J Rod from Minnesota, J.R. Robinson. What's up, Jay?
Hey, happy Thursday, everybody. Today's show's going to be fire. Glad to have you here with us. Make sure you give us a share.
Let's start with Klaus there for a second.
Okay.
I'll grab my popcorn while Hutch goes.
We have said on the show before, people tell you who they are. People tell you who they are. And many of us should start believing when they tell you who they are. Okay. I think we're in the age of we wish that, right. Well, I mean, fantasy, to tell you the truth. We're in the age of fantasy. We're not in the age of reality anymore. If someone comes on and says that what he just said, he means that. He means it wholeheartedly, or he wouldn't have come up in front of Davos and told him that. They don't want elections.
And it's a double-edged sword because if you listen to the other content of this confab, they are panicking about Donald J. Trump.
100%.
Panicking.
Now, I will say this about the first video. because we have talked about third party and stuff like that. Sooner or later, and I mean, I'm not saying that we're going to stick around after this, but sooner or later, a third party is going to have to do what they are doing, because the uniparty has broken off into two sections, and they're not letting anybody else in. So somebody's going to have to, and it's not going to be the DOJ. It's probably going to have to go to the Supreme Court, and then, I mean, I don't know, but it's not going to be the DOJ, because the DOJ is infiltrated, or the DOJ is compromised. So the DOJ
is uniparty too.
Yeah, exactly. So
everybody watched his uniparty. Every single
you can send briefs, right. You can send all that stuff to the DOJ, and DOJ's mama, and you ain't gonna get what you think that you're gonna get, right?
That organization, No Labels, is a fraud. That's a uniparty answer to the third party problem. Those people are never Trumpers and everything else. The thing about the third party deal is real, because I think I just read something this morning. I might blow the numbers a little bit, but I'm close. Over 60% of Americans are independent. You know what I mean? More people have been running away from both parties since 1965. You know, they've been every single year, mostly from Democrats. Mm-hmm. And I read this analysis at Real Clear Politics, and they totally blew it on why people are leaving the Republican Party. They said in this article that people are leaving the Republican Party in the last several years because of disillusion with Donald Trump, and that they're too worried about right-wing extremist policies. That's not why Republicans are leaving. Republicans are leaving because you guys are traitors to us. You guys turn around. Every time you turn around, you stick a knife in us. And we finally figured it out. It just took a while.
Yeah, I was going to say that the two opening clips are actually remarkably connected. So for those of us that believe in the uniparty, or believe in whatever you want to call it, the evil cabal, whatever you want to call it, there are a group of global elites that think they know better than you do how the world should run, and they want to control every facet of your life. This isn't new. This has been going on for centuries. And that was part of how America was established. They wanted established where there was very little centralized power, so that for some corrupt oligarchs to take it over, you had to take over all these cities and states and all that. You couldn't just go swoop in and take out the federal government. And, you know, so that's kind of the Carl Schwab thing. Like those guys want these global elites to decide how you live your life, and you're going to live it the way they think you will.
And they want you to live it poor.
Yeah. And then if you look at how that gets into American politics, over the past several decades, we keep centralizing power into this federal regime that they've corrupted, and it's the overlords that get to rule down. And that's why people are sick of the Republican Party. It's not the values they put on the pamphlet. It's not the MAGA people. It's that the people who are running the party have been bought out by that global regime, and because they're in the in crowd. Like, if you're going to be one of the elites, you like an elite versus a normal people model. So yeah, that's why they don't want a third party. That's why they don't want a populist movement. That's why they'll do anything to destroy Donald Trump.
When you think of No Labels, think of Mitt Romney.
Yep.
I know the former, I don't know if he's there anymore, but when No Labels started, it started when the former head of the CPAC left, and he was in charge of No Labels. I forget what his name was, but I remember when they started that thing years ago, and you know how some people listen to people on social media is like, why should we be called this? Why should we call that? Why should we have labels? So No Labels was formed after that. You said something about Republicans. What again, Hutch?
People are fleeing both parties. There's
Right.
I think there's like 27% of each, Republican and Democrat, and like 60-some% are independent. And it's been hemorrhaging since the 60s. I mean, it's not all just right now.
Right.
People are
And
getting away from it. They're phony, man.
And that speaks to what we've been saying before, is people have just cut the cord. They're tired of politics, period. But you gave a reason why you about Republicans, but then you gave your response. Why did you say Real Clicks Politics said that people were leaving Republicans?
They said that people were that they disagreed with the extremist right-wing policies, and they were disgruntled with Trump. And I think of myself during that time, because that's the same time I left the party. And the reason I left the party was because the Republicans were screwing my guy.
Right. So both of those are right, to tell you the truth. In the way that I see it, both of those are right, because I mean, I'm with you. I got tired of getting lied to. And
what right wing extremist actions has the Republicans done? They haven't done anything right wing.
They haven't passed anything.
Well, for me, from what I have seen from Wayne's seat, is that extremists are, I don't want to hear what you got to say. I don't want to hear what you got to say. And it started out with the Democrats. The Democrats got to a point, even though they don't say it anywhere on TV or whatnot, because they just label the right for doing that. But the Democrats got to a place, and probably it built on what Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid and all them were doing. It's like, we don't need you. We don't have, I mean, you remember that super majority that they had? I mean, that's really where the super extremists on the left started.
They abandoned their people worse than our people did.
Exactly. I mean, I agree with that, but then how do you counter that? You have to say, well, you know what? Enough is enough. We don't want to hear from you. So then you create extremists on your side. So you know what? No matter what you say, I mean, I don't think you are, but you say you are.
It's about
you
definition.
said that if you come down to the definition of extremist, you said you might be even considered.
If you consider extreme, to most people that I deal with, that I'm talking about,
right,
they support the United States Constitution, and there's a group of idiots in this country that has defined that as extremist.
Yes.
So if it's about that, then I am an extremist.
Right.
But I don't think that's an extremist point of view.
It's not. But what I have seen is, if you have two people, I mean, from, I guess, Jay, when you're young and your parents talk to you and, you know, you say, well, talk it out or work it out. Actually, Hutch, too, when you're in the military, you work it out at the lowest level. Right? Absolutely. That's what they tell you. You don't take the stuff all the way up to the captain
and everything you do. I mean, right. I was a vehicle equipment maintenance person, and my goal was to fix that thing as further forward as possible.
Exactly. Fast, quick, work it out, lowest level.
At the front.
Exactly.
Not bring it back to the rear.
Exactly. And at most times, if you can take care of that down here, especially in the military, well, I'm speaking about military.
Squad leader, sure.
You get seen as a problem solver to take care of stuff. They reward you and achievement and all that stuff and everything like that. Okay. But what you have now in the Senate or Congress or whatnot, you don't have problem solvers. You have problem makers. Yes. I mean, there's nobody up there that's solving a problem, because they, you know, and again, we talk about blue dog Democrats that were on the Democrat side. This might have happened when you join politics. You don't really know too much about the blue dog Democrats, Jay. I don't think. But
I do.
And you might. But they got kicked out of Congress.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's a dangerous time for the Uniparty, because pre-President Trump, all of us on the Republican side bought the lies. We bought the crap they were selling us. And Donald Trump woke us up and said, hey, you guys are getting screwed. And we looked at it and we said, we're getting screwed. And that's where MAGA came from. Well, on the left, I mean, I keep saying that's the hope for the country, is because if you look at the Democrats, let's say they're 50% of the country, there is a large percentage of people on there that agree with a number of policy positions that MAGA has. I mean, let's just leave abortion and states' rights and quit arguing at the federal level. There are Democrats that would agree with that. Let's eliminate congressional stock trading. Democrats would agree with that. I mean, not your politicians, but your average Democrat citizens. Let's limit the number of people that can come into America. There are Democrats that agree with that. They look at like 3 million people coming in. That's crazy. I'm not talking about Democrat politicians. I'm talking about your neighbor. You know what I mean? And there's this populist movement that and Donald Trump is going to lead MAGA, but post-Trump, if there is somebody that could appeal to that normal American demographic that just wants us to look out for America, well, the problem is he's so, I'm a huge Trump supporter and I want him to be president. I'm just saying there are some Democrats that he's such damaged goods to that they'll just never vote for him.
And it's because we let this monster, this uniparty, fester for 200 years. Right. There's people that are deeply ensconced. That's their life.
Right. And the Democrats.
That means that they're in survival mode. They're trying to
They are in survival mode. Look what they did to Bernie Sanders. Right. Look what they did to RFK Jr., Donald Trump, Herman Cain. The list is endless.
Right.
And I think the way that you call those names, y'all can agree with me. We don't get ready to say, because I'm about to drop your jaws. Back in the day, they would have killed these people.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're right.
That's what happened in the 60s.
The day ain't over yet, man.
Yeah. Right. I mean, back in the 60s, they used, look, it's like every other week a leader was getting popped off, I mean, but now it's like, you know what? We can do this. We can make it a clean kill. We just call them racist and destroy their life or take away their ways to bank, or actually we can shut down the political process and not even let them participate.
Well, and it's funny because they do it, and really the enemy, because people are like, why did we let this happen, or we the people or whatnot? It's because the media that people consume is so supportive, both on the right and the left of the regime, that yesterday it came out, Julie Kelly was reporting on it in court documents, that the DOJ was like checking financial transactions for the use of Trump or MAGA, that kind of thing. That should make the hair on the back of everybody's neck stand up. Like, whoa.
If you shop at Cabela's,
right,
at a freaking sporting goods store, you're trying to, what do you think, that no Democrats are sporting goods customers? The whole thing is ridiculous. It's draconian. Right. That's what it is. And they're in, like you said, Wayne, they are in survival mode. I think
they're in survival mode. Exactly.
And for me, it's funny because my whole life, like, I never identified as a Republican. Like, I share Republican values, but I've thought our entire political system was corrupt. I grew up with Ross Perot. That was the first person I voted for president. And that was his whole shtick. Like, these guys are clowns. They're ruining. And he took it more from a financial perspective than, because there wasn't quite this overreach of government as bad as it is today. But the government, and that's why when people say like, oh, they don't do anything, the problem is that the federal government shouldn't do much. They should. Ross Perot, they should do very little things.
He doesn't get recognized. He's an American hero, Ross Perot, man. I'm not talking about politics either.
Yeah,
I know some guys. If you remember back in Operation Desert Storm, one unit took the bulk of the casualties in Iraq, in Saudi Arabia, when the warehouse got Scud missiled. Mm-hmm. And that unit was from here, from Latrobe, Pennsylvania. And two guys that worked for me got hit in that missile strike. And one of them got totally blown up. His back, his arm, everything. He required so much extensive specialty surgery that the Army wasn't giving it to him. Ross Perot gave it to him. Gave it to him personally, came to his bed and talked to him personally. The other thing people don't know about Ross Perot, he pulled a lot of hostages out of Iran during the Iran hostage crisis. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He's an American hero. He got dogged.
No, he did. But then again, I don't know whether you want to call that the beginning or the birth of the uniparty, but they saw Ross Perot as a dangerous.
Yeah, and they took him out, man. They took him out.
And probably
George Bush took him out.
Exactly. Who do you think was at the top of that thing? Yep. Because usually you don't have a former CIA or anything as president of the United States. Can you imagine that they allowed that to happen?
Can you imagine things that he did that we don't know about?
Right.
What a
stuff
horrible
that
family.
He knew stuff that Reagan didn't know.
Looking back at the Bush presidencies and how awful they were, and now that you see it, like seeing the military-industrial complex, and I mean, I said that, like, why didn't I serve? And when I was young, I'm like, oh, so we're gonna go blow up another Middle Eastern country for oil, and so the military. I mean, people called me a crazy leftist back then.
Let's get real here, because you said that a few times. We didn't get any oil,
right? But it was involved in the oil game.
That's what the left said.
I remember y'all liberals that said stuff like that, and we were like, I don't think we're getting any oil while we're over here.
They lit the oil on fire.
Yeah, yeah, they burned it. They burned it. But no. I mean, we again, Klaus Schwab, whatever his name is.
I finally figured out who he reminded me of.
Who's that?
You ever have that guy that, like, he's growing up and he hits 10 years old and his body keeps growing, but his mind stops?
Yeah.
You see that guy that has that talk? We're going to go over here. We're going over here. This Michael will go over here. That's what Klaus Schwab sounds like.
Yeah.
I got to say it.
No, he.
Tell me I'm wrong, though.
No, you're right. You're right, man. Yeah, you're right.
Well, and here's the thing, though. You get all these rich people that sit there and captains of industry or politics or whatever they're in charge of, and they think they know better. If we could just do this, we can make the world such a better place.
We've deteriorated so badly. This guy is sitting on a stage with one of the world's richest, most powerful men, and he's wearing a freaking T-shirt. I mean, unbelievable. Our culture. That sounds like
Zelensky.
Yeah,
with all the people and he wearing that same sweatshirt or that.
I think they should require Zelensky to show up like the stereotypical Russian mafia guy in like the velour tracksuit and stuff. I mean, if he's just showing up to get his bribe, like, shouldn't he have to wear the proper outfit? Like, give him a purple velour out,
The one who had the best suits like that was Al Sharpton back when he was 500 pounds.
Oh, yes.
Those were something to watch, man. That was something to behold. Yeah.
But yeah, they expect them to, if they aren't really already doing it right now, because for him to say that publicly, something has to be in place.
And what about Kamala Harris said that they plan on running against no one?
Against what?
Not having an opponent. A slip probably, but I mean, I think the question is going to be, and I hate to say this, I think the question is going to be, how do we react?
Right.
Well, they've been working on that for a while, too. That's why you see stuff like this. That's why you see 91, 92 indictments. Did they get mad? Did they do anything? No? Okay.
There's a thing called cold anger that's in a lot of us.
Tell the judge to be a bitch to Donald Trump and see what they do. They ain't do nothing. Okay.
Right.
The judges are just brazen.
Can you see? I mean, honestly, I've seen stuff like this on TV. I never heard any stuff like this in real life. I haven't. I mean,
it's like cut and dried stuff that's getting thrown out. It's like, what?
I mean,
in New York City, the guy shoots a guy that's holding the whole freaking train hostage, and they prosecute him, and the judge refuses to dismiss it.
Yeah, they wouldn't let him
like-
talk. They wouldn't let him show evidence or something like that. I'm like,
Bizarre.
you definitely want the appeal, don't you? I mean, you giving them every avenue to appeal, and maybe that's it. Maybe they just want to give make the conviction before the election to say that he got convicted, even though he's going to get appeal, and I guess because the appeal process, they can push that out. I don't know. I mean, I don't understand why these judges. Well, yes, I do.
To me, it looks like Fannie Willis or whatever her name is she's in trouble, man. The only thing in between her and a jail cell is Governor Kemp.
Well,
Kemp.
yeah. And how about the Fannie Willis story getting zero coverage?
Yeah.
But Kemp is calling out Trump too. So I mean, I don't know whether he's going to side with his.
He's not going to side with us. He's a freaking rhino.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. Yeah.
No, I know. That's what I meant. I mean, if it wasn't for him, if we had a real conservative governor in the state of Georgia, she'd be in jail.
Right.
For what she did.
Yeah, and I mean, we should highlight like what the Fannie story is, Hutch.
Well, there's several aspects to it. I mean, she's got 3 attorneys. The head RICO attorney in the entire state, the guy that helped write the RICO statute, is one of her attorneys, and he gets $100 an hour less. He's only a white guy too, by the way. Than her lover. Her lover gets $250 an hour. He gets $150, and he's made almost $1 million on this already. He has total reason for staying with this prosecution as long as he can. It's his gravy train. He's cleaning up. But she's
Well,
fraudulent.
then it's come out that the prosecutor she hired have met with the White House several times, which both the White House and Fannie denied. Turns out you got to sign in at the White House to check in. Turns out her boyfriend that she's paying more than the RICO lawyer, they took these expensive vacations that got billed back to the state of Georgia.
Total money laundering, man.
Yeah.
Money went to him. He took her on vacation.
Right. Yeah. I mean, think of that. Like, I hired this guy who was 2.5 times the price the guy I should have hired. And oh, by the way, she's having sex with him, broke up his marriage, and then he's using that money to take her on vacation.
Don't
How is
even
she
drop
not
the old
in jail?
lady a couple dollars. Doesn't even send his wife a couple dollars.
Right.
The only reason why I really haven't really touched this is because I'm worried about what's happening in the Middle East right now. Okay. Iran hit Pakistan, like we said 2 days ago. And Pakistan hit Iran last night.
Yep.
You got the U.S. military that's hitting the Houthis. I think this is the fourth night for attacks on them. You got Iran getting close to hitting U.S. military bases over there. You got Taiwan. What happened to Taiwan yesterday with China doing maneuvers close to Taiwan yesterday? I'm worried about that right now. Okay.
Well, you should be.
I understand that the Fannie Willis and stuff. It's good headlines and stuff, but look, Trump is going to win the nomination. I really don't think they're going to put him in jail. For some reason, I don't think they're going to kill him, and I don't think they're going to put him in jail. But that's me. Anybody else can think the way that they want to.
I feel that way too.
I
don't think the American people have been like this since the Civil War.
Yeah.
Well, and part of why I think the Fannie Willis story is a bigger story than it's getting is the implications that it has, because all this is happening right in front of Americans, and you see the media not reporting it. And I mean, this is a corruption of our judicial system.
Well, I've seen the corruption of the judicial system from my side. So, and y'all have too. Y'all have seen the corruption of the judicial system.
Sure.
This thing, and I'll go as far as back to say last year when I questioned the judges type of thing. I was like, I think these judges can be corrupt though. And, I don't know. I just don't trust these judges. Huh?
Ask Lindsey Graham.
Yeah.
He approves every damn one of them.
Yeah. The U.S. military launched another missiles at the Houthis, and you still got what's going on in Ukraine and Russia. But this Pakistan-Iran thing is crazy.
Oh yeah.
Because when I saw Pakistan hit Iran back, I'm like, wait a minute now. You're right. Pakistan got a nuke too.
Mm-hmm.
And Iran is doing the uranium rides and everything like that. I don't know whether they got one or not, but this thing is getting serious over there. And the media is not really talking about it.
The media, man, is a failed. I swear, we are so screwed when it comes to that because people don't give a damn, man.
Why don't
people
they
are
just
watching the
take media
game
off the air? They're not helping anything.
People keep watching it, man.
I know they do.
You said that, and I disagreed with you 100%. You were right, man. They're still watching Fox News. I mean, I can't believe these people do that.
I told you Fox News is coming.
I have not watched a single news program in years. I cannot sit down. I can't stomach it. I get mad in the first 5 minutes.
Yep.
That's just like me watching the NFL.
Megyn Kelly got on there and said, "Oh, Fox is done. Look, Tucker's gone. Oh yeah." I said, "Woman, you should know better than anybody. All they need is a couple months. Then people are gonna be like,
what do you start seeing clips of? You start seeing clips of Jesse Waters. I mean, it's turned into a drama TV.
Yeah, and Jesse's bringing on psychics.
Yeah,
Jesse's bringing on psychics.
Yeah, they're leaning into that Waters Gutfeld comedy angle.
Stupid.
Way more than reporting or drilling.
I never watched them when I watched Fox. If I did,
didn't either.
I mean, it was a joke to me. I remember when Wayne, you and I were in Orlando, and I won a meet and greet with Greg Gutfeld, and I was getting ready to go to this meet and greet, and the guy that we were working for called me up and said, "Hey, you got a David Horowitz interview right here. You want to do that, or you want to do the meet and greet?" I said, "That's the easy one."
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Sit him down. I'm on my way. Screw
That's
Gutfeld.
Right. Yep. We're gonna bring. I was bringing up the Taiwan situation. We have a beautiful partnership with the new federal state of China. They come on and they let us know exactly what's going on with the CCP, and especially the Taiwan situation right now. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to say any. I'm going to bring her on, and then we'll talk about it from there. Our sister Ava Chen from the new federal state of China. What's up, sis? What's going on?
Your mic's muted. Mic's muted.
I got her.
Oh, sorry. I got it. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Great to be here again. And so you talk about Taiwan. So I think last night, I think mainstream media has been reporting it, as probably everyone already know, that the PLA has moved on. They're sending, I think it was 24 aircrafts and 5 ship vessels, and basically doing a patrol. Like, according to them, it's doing a patrol. But this is anticipated as the NFSC shared the intel from our whistleblower back actually at the end of last year. So 2023, December 31st, we actually said, Xi Jinping has already ordered the military to stand by. And they have been doing drills using the spy balloon and in tens of thousands of them. And it's quite cheap to maneuver because one computer can actually control 10s to 20,000 balloons at the same time. And they have been practicing it. So, and according to an earlier last year, we received from within the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP has changed a little bit how they're gonna annex Taiwan. Initially, prior to that intel we received early last year, the Xi Jinping is prepared to take in Taiwan completely using force. Okay, kinetic war. Okay, just invade Taiwan because they have the Putin on the other battlefields, and so they if Putin was doing great, then this is a plan. Okay, they want to just move in and taken over the island. However, the Ukraine war didn't go very well, and then the Middle East started. So the Xi Jinping has been changing a little bit, revising a little bit his policy. So last year's, I think it was March 2023, Miles Guo said after the 2 sessions of the Chinese Communist Party, which started on March 5th, continued about a week and 2. The 2 sessions, the Congress, the Chinese Communist Party Congress meetings, 2 sessions, and they actually changed. They're using an unrestricted warfare, basically causing social unrest and collapsing Taiwan's economy by basically siege the waterway. Okay, and by using military intimidation tactics, by economic coercion. You have to remember Taiwan's biggest economic trading partner is the CCP, okay, $280 billion, okay? So there's a lot of chips and leverages that the CCP has on their hand to really hurt the Taiwanese people, okay? So and this is exactly their plan. They want to causing, this is psychological warfare to the individual Taiwanese who resides on that island, okay? So they will actually starting financial collapsing your real estate. Okay, so if people start selling it, for example, the Taiwanese business having a lot of savings and money in China, in mainland China, and they're controlled by the CCP. So the CCP confiscate them. It will starting the ripple effect of the social unrest. First of all, the company is going to fall. The people's going to lose their job. People are going to sell their houses, and the house is going to further plunging the economy. So you get me. This is a vicious circle of how the modern warfare, without even lifting a gun, to fight a war. And this is in the CCP's plan that has been reviewed by Miles Guo, by our courageous whistleblowers from within the Chinese Communist Party telling us what the Xi's plan is. So this is a combination of external forces, intimidation, coercion, but also the most dangerous elements in this unrestricted warfare is those Taiwanese sellouts.
Thank you. Boom.
Okay, so because they have long started. If anybody ever heard the phrase called United Front Work Department, okay, that was in Soviet book. That was in communist book for over a century. But then they moved it to China when the Soviet, established their parties, recruited Chinese, and started their subversion, the Kuomintang Party at that time. So they started the United Front Work against individual long time ago. Okay, and this has been done to Taiwan for the last, I would say, 74 years, starting 1949, the day one, they started the infiltration and United Front Work. So today, unfortunately, there are a lot of people, and it could be very influential people, could be people serving in governments, in business, media, anywhere, universities, they are actually compromised by the Chinese Communist Party because they either have some dirt that was, took possession by the CCP, coerced them to do something they don't otherwise would not do, or some of them are willingly doing this. Because they see they're a part of, the CCP and they are the beneficiary of the end of this war against the people. So they are going to be creating the elements of fear, okay? Because we are not irrational beings sometimes. If you are in fear mode, okay, that is why the COVID-19 was so successful, because it made everybody fearful. You're scared for your own life. You're scared for other life. So you actually chose the experimental vaccine. Otherwise, you would not. Okay. So this is exactly the tactics. So the Taiwanese sellouts is going to from within creating and amplify those messages of fear that created by the external CCP. For example, creating an earthquake-like condition. Okay, long time ago, we have the intel that the CCP has the technology, absolutely have the technology. They've studied the tectonic plate under that area, not just Taiwan, Japan as well, So they've studied really well, and submarine can causing damage just like earthquake. Okay, that is why actually many years ago, I think it was many weeks ago, I saw a video clip that was a gentleman that analyzing the earthquake in Japan. And it was from governmental official, and he was talking. I mean, it's in Japanese. I don't understand Japanese, but I do see some characteristics of Japanese are katakana. They're similar to Chinese, so I recognize natural and unnatural. So they're comparing the seismic waves and studying which earthquake is natural and unnatural. So this directly following to what I'm saying is the CCP will use anything. Okay. Not just directly throwing missiles into your bustling streets of Taiwan, but they're going to using all those elements to basically subvert and take over Taiwan.
Let me, because you back a few years ago when I was working in Virginia, earthquakes usually happen on the West Coast, not on the East Coast, because of the land
fault lines and stuff.
Yeah,
Tectonic.
But I happened to be in a building, working in a building, and all of a sudden we experienced earthquake here on the East Coast.
I felt that too.
That we had never felt before. Okay, and when they did some studies on it, the reason why I'm bringing this up because you were talking about the plates, right? They don't have plates on the West Coast. Mm-hmm. We have plates on the East Coast. And they're like built is like that here on the East Coast. And everybody was like, but I mean, that's something that we really don't go through. And I was like, when you said those tectonic plates, I was like, well, that's what we have over here. And it's probably easy for a submarine to use sonar and stuff just to test it, just to see what is going on. But before I throw it to Hutch, I have a video that I'm gonna play for you, and then you can explain, and then Hutch can.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much. Today, I'm here to tell you that the Western world is in danger. And it is endangered because those who are supposed to have to defend the values of the West are co-opted by a vision of the world that inexorably leads to socialism and thereby to poverty. Unfortunately, in recent decades, motivated by some well-meaning individuals willing to help others, and others motivated by the wish to belong to a privileged caste, the main leaders of the Western world have abandoned the model of freedom for different versions of what we call collectivism. We're here to tell you that collectivist experiments are never the solution to the problems that afflict the citizens of the world. Rather, they are the root cause. Do believe me, no one better placed than us, Argentines, to testify to these 2 points.
Screw Stefanik Malay for vice president.
Can you imagine? I mean, there was no clapping. There was no nothing. Hey,
I can't believe you're saying this.
Is he still alive, that guy?
I know. Did he make it out of the Davos? I mean, wow.
If he comes to the U.S., he's going to be in the cell next to Miles. They're good.
I think he will be received as a hero by a lot of American people. I think American people are waking any minute. Some a very painful experience for some of them, but I think they are, regardless. I'm very happy. This could happen at a Davos. Could you imagine? If you look at Davos, like they've been in operation since 1971. This is an organization basically dominates the world, and we call them out. Miles School called them out as the party of the international communists.
Yeah.
Okay, the Davos, if we do not taking down the Chinese Communist Party and those a few radical globalists that basically heading the Davos, then we were never ever achieving ruling by the people. There will be no liberty. There will be no freedom. Because the reason why the Davos invited Chinese Communist Party into Davos in 1979, there's a reason why. Because they love experiment. of the communism. This is the biggest conspiracy ever created. The reason why, because I think a lot of American people are duped, by the so-called human rights, you're gonna find who you are. If you're a man, then you should be a man. Even though you're born as a girl. Like these are lies. Because I can be very clear, very simple thing. I will. There's a two spectrum of power, because we always want the power within individual people. We don't want a collectivism, because what the president of Argentina, Milei, was saying, Milei, I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, but he said Argentina can tell you collectivism doesn't work, and I can seriously tell you, because I spent my first 25 years in communist China. And I've heard stories, my own family stories. I can tell you collectivism never work. It is just a lie to get people to give up their rights willingly, so the very few, the tyranny of the few, can have a total government. Okay, so they want to control the biggest government and manage every aspect of your life, and they can make a decision for you because you're not good enough. Okay, and they are God. They want to replace God. And what they say is absolutely accurate. So that's a total government. That's a communism model, which they have already achieved by the Chinese Communist Party. That is why they knew in 1979, by inviting this, they're starting the gradually socialization process for the West. Okay, it started that time, 1979. What's socialization? Because a lot of American, if you ask them, do you like communism? They would say, no, I don't like communism. I'm not a fan. But do you ask them, do you like socialism? I will bet you. A lot of them say, yeah, socialism is a great idea. But when you ask, what is socialism? You ask 10 people, you will get 10 different answers, because they don't even know what is socialism. And I can tell you what is socialism. Socialism is invented process for a very few to grabbing power, so they can gradually, the beauty is here is gradually, they do it without you noticing, and they do it with co-opt your willingness under using deception and lies. So you're happily walking gradually along the way of socialization, not realizing your rights as an individual human being has been dismantled slowly, little by little.
That's
and
right.
heading to the total government. So this is socialist process. Just think about it. Starting in the 1970s, since the Davos has established how many of your personal rights, how many policies has been actually, taking away your rights rather than giving you.
And the precursor to the World Economic Forum in 1970 was the United Nations proclamation of Earth Day, when we replaced God with dirt. And literally they've been using that to take our rights away. Look at everything that's happened in this country related to the environment. Yeah. It's psycho.
Yeah, you mentioned media. Media is not reporting this. Why? Because in order to help to hurt people going to the direction the tyranny of the field wants, they have to change in your thought process. They have to change in the information that's feeding you, because you have been given by God the ability to think, and they don't like it because they think it's a threat to them, to their agenda of total government. So this is why media has been feeding us lies and half-truths. Okay, they're untruths and half-truths. For example, the climate hoax. I mean, the recent Tucker Carlson's interview with the physicists, the scientists, Willie Su, has already debunked the climate hoax. There's no CO2. Carbon dioxide is not the problem. Okay, so why? You have to put all things together. Why they're not a problem, but they want to inventing an issue. Okay, so this is why I think Americans are now waking up, and I feel the speed of that waking up is going to destroy the enemy, the communists, and those international communists and the Chinese Communist Party.
I want to go back because I didn't really ask a question. I'll give it right to you, Jay. This should be quick, but you were speaking about the United Front Work Department, and we were speaking about corruption of Taiwanese people. I think there's a whole party that's CCP friendly in Taiwan, if I'm not mistaken. But I wanted to make sure everybody knows that work department doesn't just stick to China and Taiwan. If you listen to Mike Pompeo, who I'm not a real big fan of, but he uncovered the fact that work department has several governors on the payroll and several states where their workforce, their retirement is all invested in the CCP because of this. I wanted to make sure people knew of the international ramifications. They're right here in the United States.
Yes, thank you for that. Yes, I can speak to that. So first of all, I will tell you, United Front is an organized a group of people by the CCP, and they have two goals. One is to basically promote, advance the Beijing's agenda. The second is to destroy their enemy, perceived enemy. So in Taiwan, very sadly, the CCP never just betting on one; they're betting on all. Okay, so the three parties that went into election, the DPP, TPP, and the Kuomintang Party, they all being infiltrated using the United Front networks. Okay, they are in international campaigns, not just for Taiwan, not just for Chinese. They started within the China. Remember, that's how they actually subvert the previous Kuomintang government and then take over China. So they started in China, they moved it to Taiwan, and then they moved it to all over the world. So this is where I wanted people to really pay attention. Yes, there is a lot of corruption because CCP is a devil and Satan. The moment that you engage with them, communism is, right? You actually contracted a virus called communism created by Satan, because truly they're doing Satan's work. They're destroying contaminated human DNA with mRNA. They are destroying families. They're destroying God. They're weakening America, the only country that is able, because American people is smart people and God-protected people. You have a strong faith. That's why you see it's pushing back. That's why it's so inspiring for Argentina president to plead to American people. And this should be in the moment of history, because never ever happened. It took people, how many years? 53 years to come to a realization that we have been lied to, okay, by the tyranny of the field, and feeding us all those narratives that does not make sense and covering their own bad actors. And there's a lot of people can be redeemed. I think these are the victim, because regardless who you are, which parties you actually work, CCP target you indiscriminately. Okay, some you might have the similar ideology. You might have a sync. Some of the policies you might sync with what the CCP trying to push. You might have more people was duped by communism, by CCP, but the other side of the spectrum of the political aisle, the same thing. Because remember, the total government. If we say the communism extreme on the left, what's the extreme on the right? Do you know what's the extreme on the right?
Constitution.
It's anarchy, right? One is total government, the other is anarchy, right? So this should be the two extreme, and they all bad. This is why the U.S. founding father, when they started very early on, they started Constitution Republic. Guess where they stand? They stand on a little bit, right? But they want a small government. Why? Because small government means individual people have more rights. So don't fall for the collectivism. They are a lie. And the billions of Chinese people had died are the best evidence for you to believe that they tried to lie to you. And for President and Argentina standing on Davos telling people, wake up. I mean, everybody has to really look at themselves, look surrounding of them. What happening the last 4 years? Are they happier? Are they actually have more peace and joy today? Or are they actually more in a fear mode today?
It's funny. One of the undercurrents from the things that you've been talking about, Ava, and my God, I got to have half the energy you do. You're on fire. And it's talking about the removal of faith and the replacement of God with the government, and in America with the climate. Because if you watch these climate crazies and you think of it from terms of that's their religion, you can totally see how they do it. And I think I always think there's a God-sized hole in everybody, and if God doesn't fill it, something else is going to fill it. But it's been interesting today as you've been talking. You keep referring back to how they replace the ideology with the collectivism ideology. So kind of explain to our viewers why the CCP does that and kind of how they do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that is why you find everything you know of and you cherished is gone. It's because this is by design. Okay. So that is why, media, I'm hoping all those media personnel were starting realizing they've been duped as well. Okay. So if we don't actually seriously taking a look what's going on around, all those people who have been useful idiots for the Chinese Communist Party or for the International Party of Communism, Judgment Day is coming. Okay. They are destroying humanity on behalf of a Satan. And these fools think they can get away. No, they can't. Nobody is getting away. They don't even know they're actually helping the demons and the devils to destroy all of us. So I think they need to wake up as well. If they haven't committed anything crimes against humanity, they should be redeemed and given an opportunity because they have been fooled. A lot of them have been taking vaccines. A lot of them have suffered. Their family member has been passed away. There are victims too. It's just they have a different level of awakening up to do.
You know what? I have another quick video before I let you go. Let me play this.
I suspect that some powerful set of forces has decided that consent of the governed is too dangerous to tolerate, and that it has begun to unhook it. And we do not know how this works. We can see some of the partners who are involved in this, but I don't think we know ultimately who's driving it or where they're going. I think many of the notions that we picked up about nations and who our friends are and who our enemies are they are now more misleading than they are informative. In other words, I don't think the U.S. has an enemy called China. I think there are elements within the U.S. that are partnered with elements within the Chinese Communist Party for practical reasons. And so the notion that these two parties are competing with each other just distracts us from what's actually taking place. But let's just put it this way. We have a large global population. Most people have no useful role through no fault of their own. They have not been given an opportunity in life to find a useful way to contribute. And I wonder if
Ava?
Yeah. That's Brad Weinstein, and he was interviewed with Tucker Carlson on January 5th. That interview, it's about an hour. I suggest everybody to watch because he shared, the biggest calamity in human history. That is the vaccine. So, and he reviewed the statistics he recently obtained attending a scientific conference, and 17 million people worldwide already died of this COVID vaccine. And he gave the ratio 1 every 800 people, 1 in every 800. And this toxic vaccine has been given out for tens of billions times. So there's a lot of people out there has getting a lot of vaccines. So this is the biggest atrocities man-made ever happened in human history. And he's saying that the narratives are force. Okay. And they are misleading. And there's a very strong, powerful forces. He didn't say what it is, but I can tell you these are the CCP and the very few radicalized globalists who are part of the Davos group, and they are calling the shots. And majority of us are still sleeping. No fault of their own, because we didn't know. We didn't know better. But now you should know better. Okay, after 4 years of the virus that released by the Chinese Communist Party and nobody is holding them accountable. Now you knew. You have no excuses, whether you serve as a Congress, you're media personnel, you're a university professors. Now you know If you're still saying you don't know, it's because you don't want to know. You have been given many opportunities in the past 2 years to make a contribution, to be a good people, and to safeguard humanity and save lives. If you're still saying that you don't know, please watch this episode, and that's where you start.
Give
Well said.
Let our audience know how they can support the new federal state of China, and also let them know about your podcast and give us give them some parting words for the weekend.
Sure. So please do follow the NFSC Speak on Twitter and on Getter, NFSC Speaks. Also, you can find me on both platforms with the same handle at 7SGRIL. God bless all of us. God bless America. We need America to be great again so we all can be safe. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
Great weekend, David.
I really appreciate it. And we'll be talking offline, but we really enjoy being enlightened by you. You, like I say, you are a fire, man. The NFSC really has a champion in you. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend.
That was our sister, Ava.
That's a dream interview. You don't even have to say anything.
Yeah,
Right.
She brings it. She brings it. And I'm glad that we had a chance to meet up with her and stuff like that.
Just to the audience, there's some people out there that maybe they tuned in for the first time or whatever, and they had some derogatory comments. Understand that that's our weapon against the Chinese Communist Party right there. Right. The NFSC is pro-America, pro-MAGA.
Mm-hmm.
So just make sure you understand that before you throw them comments out there.
Well, and I think the other thing people have to realize, and President Trump has said it, but China is our biggest global existential threat. And we all think of like Russia's going to arm their nukes and take over Florida or something. No, the way China's going to destroy us is by the corruption and buying off people. That's how the communists do it. And the NFSC does the best job of any exposing that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What she said too is riveting. Think if we were looking back and this COVID thing happened, this not COVID, the vax part happened in 1929 or 19, we'd be looking back at that, at trials and everything else. We're just on autopilot here. It's like it never happened. People, I go down the street and a drugstore is still offering free vaccines.
Yeah.
It's like there's no shame. Pfizer's still a company.
Yeah.
Think how much money they made off that deal.
And that should all come back to the people.
Right.
What's nuts is watching people driving the cars wearing like,
I hate those people.
3-year-old or 4-year-old mask on their face and stuff like that. We have a new quick segment. I want to know why. And I asked a question before the show. Drop your comments or drop your questions for us so that we can ask.
Who's TFG?
Trump.
This guy didn't want to say Trump. But the former guy is basically what he's saying.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
I got an answer for that one.
Yeah. Question by Randy Ingram was, why do GOP district chairs not call out the establishment squeeze on the party? Why wouldn't they all defend the people against the self-serving arrogance? Their duties as district chairs will be easier in getting the people to vote if the party wasn't hung on themselves.
I didn't really understand that question.
Why do GOP district chairs not call out the establishment squeeze?
I just don't know what a district chair is. I'm not that much into politics like that.
I think the moral of the question is how come at the local level they don't squeeze the party harder is probably what they were going for.
Because they get paid by the party.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the sad reality of that is, without getting into the minutia of the question, is conservatives by nature, we're William Wallace at the beginning of the movie Braveheart. We just want to be out on our farm, We want to be raising our kids. We want to be going to church. We don't want to get involved in this stuff until the stuff shows up on our house. Then we put the makeup on and grab our sword and let's go. And I think the reason why more conservatives don't get involved at the local level is because they just want to go on with their life. They think government should be small. They don't want to. And the time they get involved is once everybody gets pissed and sees how overreaching the government is, which is why you see more conservatives. Like a few people I follow on Twitter that are conservatives, they finally said screw it, and like they're on their city councils now. And I'm like, holy cow, this is great.
See, I tried to get into it, and my county I'm in a weird place. I'm in Pittsburgh, Allegheny County. All right, there's over 1 million people here, but my Republican Party of my county, we went through the elections in 2020 and 2022, and they came back right after and we got hammered. John Fetterman got elected. Our governor candidate got blown out, and he got blown out because of the Republican Party Governors Association.
Right.
And one of the reasons. And the day after the election, I get an email. I'm on the email list from the party. I get an email telling us, come to the open bar festival where we can celebrate all the hard work we did after they got their asses handed to them. I couldn't believe the arrogance of that. These people live off the party. It's what they do. It's how they make their money.
Right.
If that makes sense. I mean, I don't know.
Jay, Jay Hutch, what are your thoughts about the New Hampshire primary?
I think DeSantis is dead, and I don't think Nikki Haley's going to do as well as she thinks he is.
Disagree. I think we're going to have a bet on it. I think it's Tuesday, so we'll do it on Monday show or a thing. I think you're right. DeSantis is dead. I mean, they laid off a bunch of people today. His campaign is spiraling the drain. But I think a lot of the DeSantis vote moves to Haley. And I think the Democrats saw how effective the votes moving to Haley were in Iowa and New Hampshire. You can do the same thing. So, I mean, right now I got to see how the things flush out over the weekend. But I wouldn't be surprised. Huh?
Check the polls out for independents.
Is it strong pro-Trump or?
It's even.
It's even. I was going to say just off the top of my head, and I haven't flushed out the numbers, I'm landing Haley gets 35-45 and DeSantis is like 5-10.
I've seen that 5-10. Thomas Colochi says, do you think the elites will choose Haley over Trump, even though Trump will win in a landslide and have Haley win the election?
See.
Yeah, I mean, the uniparty's in their death throes and Haley's their candidate.
Yep.
Crazy one from I'm not gonna say crazy. The Good Scoop on Twitter. He said he's deadly serious question. As men, how can you ignore the fact that the former guy TFG, talking about Donald Trump, was found liable for sexual assault and rape by a justice and jury of his peers? I'm not judging you. Please help me understand. I'm the son of a mother who was raped. I am deeply troubled by this fact.
First, let me say I'm sorry for your trauma, man. That shouldn't be raised on anybody. But I don't think it was a jury. First of all,
it was.
It wasn't a jury? Okay. Ask yourself this. You're a billionaire. Are you really going to take a woman in a freaking dressing room of a shop, of a department store? Does that really pass your man test? A billionaire that could basically have any woman he wants in the penthouse. He can rent the whole he has his own hotel. I mean, it's not, why would a guy do that? I mean, he has no history. I'll tell you why, because the legal system is corrupt against Donald J. Trump, which means they're corrupt against me. I don't think he's guilty. I don't care what any court says. There was no evidence. The lady didn't know what date it was. You know, it's ridiculous. If you look at this lady's past, she's a whack job. She's a sexual whack job. But that's so my answer is I don't take it serious. I don't believe it. I think it's a kangaroo court like every other court he's been in. But that's just my opinion. Thanks for the question.
Jay?
So to break down, because I do the the deep dives on this stuff and read the trial documents and all that kind of stuff. The first thing is they said, as men, how can you ignore the fact that Trump was found liable for sexual assault and rape by a justice and jury of his peers? First of all, this shows you how brainwashed you've become by what you've heard. Donald Trump, the jury specifically said Trump did not rape her. That was in the court documents. So people do that telephone game. If you guys have ever done that, where you take a row of people and you tell one thing at one end, and then they tell the next and the next and the next. And by the time it gets to the 100th person, so that person lives in the world right now thinking Donald Trump was convicted of rape. And that is not true. That is the opposite of what the jury ruled. Understand this legal process. He was never charged criminally. She never filed criminal charges for 30 years. Criminal charges have the beyond reasonable doubt. She sued him civilly 30 years later about this incident, and the preponderance of evidence there, it's limited what Trump could present. She claimed that he digitally penetrated her in a fitting room. And when the Trump team tried to present exculpatory evidence, like kind of like what Hutch said, like, why would we do that here? Donald Trump at the time was one of the biggest celebrities in the world. How come the only people that testified in the trial were people she told about this? There was nobody from the store that could collaborate that Donald Trump was there. And I mean, Trump was a huge superstar 30 years ago, but the judge let her come out, say, this is what happened. Here's my two friends I told, and didn't let exculpatory evidence. And then the legal threshold in a civil case is the jury gets to decide, did we think it happened? And the jury said, based on what we saw, we think it could have happened. And they held Donald Trump liable for that. So this is that reach, like that person that asked the question thinks it was a fair and reasonable legal thing, and he was tried and he got to present evidence, and none of that happened. All that happened was she got to come up, tell her story. The jury said, that's pretty convincing. I'm going to hold him $5 million liable for.
Because he has it. Because
Yeah,
he
it-
has it, you know? I mean,
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, and you got a jury of the peers in New York City that hates Donald Trump, a judge that hates Donald Trump. And like I say, for me, it's like, well, 30 years ago, why wouldn't you have brought the issue then? You know, you look at who's funding her thing. It's a big Democrat donor guy. That's who's funding her lawsuit. She is a whack job talking about weird sex stuff. And like I say, the fact that if you look in the trial docs, it's not, I mean, if Donald Trump showed up at this freaking thing at this store, like that would have been like everybody that worked there would have remembered that.
every girlfriend he ever had was a freaking supermodel. Give me a break.
Right. Yeah.
The guy was 6 foot tall and it looked like something out of Hollywood casting.
Right. Well, and Debbie Mathis
Especially
had
30
a good
years ago.
question. She said, you know, she told Cooper Trump did not rape her. No, that was the point I first started with. Donald Trump, in this hearing, they accused him of rape, and the jury said, you did not convince us that Donald Trump raped you. You did convince us that some inappropriate groping happened. Here is your defamation thing. So, but that just shows you how brainwashed the person that asked that question is, because right now he believes Donald Trump was and literally I could show him the court document. It's a questionnaire that the jury fills out that says, was Donald Trump guilty of rape? They marked no. It's crazy.
Oh, okay. Tom says Wayne almost spelled my last name. It's right, but it's like Italian, but spelled
Colucci.
Colucci. Yeah. I got my friend on Country Spaces on Twitter. Question was, how did you get to be so awesome? My mama. My
Country
mama.
Spaces is great.
Country Spaces is kind of great. Yeah.
Yeah. Good follow on Twitter.
Will Maggie B, what are your thoughts on Nikki Haley being backed by deep state donors and Democrats voting for her in the primaries instead of Biden? Isn't this another way of cheating the system? Try to keep President Trump off the ballot.
I mean, the primaries, they'll change back for the general. They're just doing this for the primaries. This is a dirty trick that's part of the program. You want to win the game, you got to play by the rules, man.
Right.
You know,
and if you believe in the uniparty, and I mean, that's the first question. What's happening with Nikki Haley makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Everybody but Trump is on the other side.
Right.
Everybody.
And
Vivek.
Did you see how he answered one of the questions standing in front of Donald Trump? Hold on, wait a minute. Let me see if I can find it.
I'm still trying to get over that clip you played with him talking to that lady.
Oh yeah.
That was a deep clip. I had heard about it, but I never watched it. That thing moved me a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy. What do y'all have going on? Hutch has a radio show Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And Hutch, let everybody know about your show and where they can find it.
If you want to check our radio show out at 8:00 at night, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, go to coldwarradio.net and you'll see a link there because I'm shadow banned, or you can go to iHeartRadio. But if you want to hear it live, you got to go, got to get the link from coldwarradio.net.
And then you also have Jay with his website too, real quick.
Yeah, we do the American Tribune. Our symbol is Tiberius Gratian, who led an overthrow of the government by the populace in the Roman Empire. But we do a lot of exposing the regime. You can follow us on theamericantribune.com. That's where it's kind of more our politically correct stuff. And then the AmericanTribune.news, that is more of our deep dive stuff. This week, Will did a great piece diving into what they mean by close the border and how we can do it just by enforcing existing laws, and how the Democrats have twisted those laws to make it very lucrative for illegals to come in. And like I say, that site, like deep dive cited pieces. Will's actually in law school, so he writes it like a lawyer, but it's very fact check proof. So
yeah, I really think that a lot of the Ron DeSantis is accusing Donald Trump of basement campaigning because he won't debate him and he won't really acknowledge him and stuff like that. Honestly, I don't think that's basement debating.
Go home, Ron. It's over.
I think that's smart on Donald Trump's part because you don't punch down. I mean, you don't get into the mud with somebody. You don't mess with somebody who's down here. You mess with people on your own level. Okay.
I think we reverse this, Wayne. Let's say Ron DeSantis, why don't you come on our show and debate us, Ron DeSantis?
That'll work.
I mean, seriously, do random people just get to say, why don't you come debate us?
Hey, you know what, too? Here we go. Ron DeSantis. My name is Wayne Dupree. Here's Hutch Bailey Jr. And here's also Jason Robinson. We make up the Wayne Dupree broadcast. We broadcast here 12 to 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Thursday. You say that you want to debate President Trump. We want to talk to you. We have some issues. Matter of fact, we have some ideas. Get with our people. We'd love that. We haven't had you here on the show, but we'd love that. Isn't that right?
I'm sick that day.
Hey, I'm going to say this. We had President Trump on this show, and Ron DeSantis, come on and change our mind, Ron. Explain to me why you started a political
Go home.
campaign on
Go
a
home and
book
get off
tour.
the TV. Get off the TV. I don't want to see you anymore.
I'm just saying, like, I got questions for Ron. Ron, how did you lie to the Florida voters when you knew you were setting up a presidential run and you ran for governor? And why did you go on a goddamn book tour when it was really just the launch of your political campaign? And Ron, why did you make them change the right to run law before you were man enough to frickin' declare you were going to run for president. Ron, I got questions. Yeah, come on the show. I'd love to ask you.
The people in Florida, and I know a lot of them, that love him as governor. And it's anytime you talk about Ron DeSantis, they tell you what a great governor he is.
Yeah.
Unless the FBI wants to come grab your shit.
Right.
And he's not a very good governor, is he?
Yep.
And well, I guess I do have a question too. Here's my question. While you're gallivanting, you just lost a House district seat that was flipped.
Yep.
A hard MAGA core to the core guy just got defeated in Florida. So while and 2 districts are going back to Disney that you pulled out, or that they're going back to Disney. There's some stuff that's happening down there that I know that you're using as your talking points, and how what goes to die in Florida. Well, somebody must have gave that Fetterman shot, because it's coming out of the ground. The woke is coming out of the ground, and a lot of the things that you signed is getting overturned by federal judges down there, or the district judges down there, and nobody's really saying anything about it. But we're reading it, and it's all in the papers. So that's our question. Answer those questions. Well,
and I gotta say, the son of a bitch shouldn't have even ran for governor for a second term if he was planning on launching a presidential campaign. If he was my governor, I'd be like, are you kidding me? Yeah. You knew you were going to run for president. Yeah. You ran for governor, and then you didn't serve your first 2 terms because you're spend more time in Iowa. Like, you are the epitome of a swamp creature, and you even had to change the law to let you do it.
Yeah, you don't have the common sense or the judgment. Everybody on this panel knew that you could never win.
Right.
It's like Ukraine. It's pretending season. You're a big pretender, and everybody can see it. You've pretty much, your one shot is to get out of the race, apologize to us, and go home and fade out. That's the only way you have a future in politics. You're never going to get elected for anything again, unless you repent. And I don't see you repenting.
Oh, dude, all those rich donors, they got his landing spot lined up for him.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what,
they're starting Bernie Sanders book deal.
They're starting to get laid off. I mean, I've seen Steve Cortez he came out for Trump now. He's trying to get back on the war room, I'll bet.
Are you serious?
Yes.
They shut down Never Back Down today.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is right, because I think I saw Laura say this, but Christine Pushoff got laid off too?
I don't know.
No, I'm blocked by her on Twitter.
That's his Ukrainian chief of staff.
Yeah, I got blocked by her on Twitter, so I've seen screenshots, so I don't know if – I know they were legit screenshots, but I don't know if there's more context. But she said that after this campaign, she's going to get out of politics. Okay. She only got into this because Ron DeSantis is so amazing and rah, because she was kind of spinning it. It was
He's
like
going back undercover.
Yeah, she was kind of spinning like, people are asking if I'm going to work for the Trump campaign, and it's like, yeah, no. But I mean, I got blocked by her months ago. So, but like I say, I think it was Laura that shared. Shout out to Laura Loomer, great follow on Twitter, by the way. But she had shared screenshots of. I mean, it was like one of those Dear Diary posts, where it's like, why are you saying this and embarrassing yourself? So.
Jamie Dimon came out yesterday.
Good one.
And basically, you know what? I think I have that. Let me play this real quick. Jamie. Okay.
Totally left-wing guy. JP Morgan.
Yeah. And I was wondering, I wonder how I should really take this.
He's right.
I know he's right, but I wonder how I should take this, because, we've been calling out Wall Street.
We've got this great hand, but when people say MAGA, they're actually looking at people voting for Trump, and they think they're voting, and they're basically scapegoating them, that you are like him. But I don't think they're voting for Trump because of his family values. And if you look, just take a step back, be honest. He was kind of right about NATO, kind of right about immigration. Mm-hmm. He grew the economy quite well.
China virus.
Tax reform worked. Yeah. He was right about some of China. I don't like what he did.
No, I said China virus.
Yeah, I understand. He may have been right. And I don't like how he said things about Mexico. I don't like, but he wasn't wrong about some of these critical issues. And that's why they're voting for him. And I think people should be a little more respectful of our fellow citizens. And when you guys have people up here, you should always ask the why. Not like it's a binary thing. You're supporting Trump, you're not supporting Trump. Why are you supporting Trump?
It's hard to hate 75 million of your fellow Americans. And
I agree.
It's done crazy.
And, the Democrats have done a pretty good job with the deplorables, hugging onto their Bibles and their beer and their guns. I mean, really, could we just stop that stuff and actually grow up and treat other people with respect and listen to them a little bit? And I do think the economy will affect, and I think this negative talk about MAGA is going to hurt Biden's election campaign.
There you go.
But everybody in that company does it in CNBC.
Well, here's the thing that you got to realize when we talk about history, and I mentioned Tiberius Gratius, who helped lead a populist overthrow. But, that happens over time. And what happens to the rich people? Fill in the blanks, folks.
Cindy asks, who is he? And if you listen to his financial acumen, he's the CEO of J.P. Morgan.
Yep.
Yeah. J.P. Morgan cut some MAGA accounts, by the way.
Yeah, I'm just saying you're going to see the rich people get nervous going we probably shouldn't demonize.
I think that's the stage we're in. I think that's the stage we're in. I think people all around are starting to go. There was Democrats voting in our favor.
Right.
And some things going on in Congress. It's something that, when these Venezuelans show up at your grocery store, you're going to see them. Yeah. I'm dead serious. This is not Venezuela. I'm not a bigot. I'm an American. Go to hell home.
Go fix your own country.
Right.
Don't tell.
I know.
Why do all these folks show up to good countries and why don't you put in my? It's like you go into a great business that's doing well and you show up and let's change everything to my way.
Right.
And it's your company went out of business. Why the hell would I do that?
Don't walk down the street thinking we're going to welcome you with open arms. We're not.
Right.
Don't get too damn comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You're out. One way or another, you're out.
That's so funny. Being Israelis. We get ready to roll out of here. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to what we do on a regular basis. Next week is New Hampshire. We're going to have our thoughts and predictions for that. We'll see where that goes. Keep your eye on the Middle East. Just keep your eyes on what's going on overseas, even if you have to look at other news networks and stuff like that. Stay alert. Don't be dumb or ignorant. And I'm not saying that to make you mad. I'm saying that to be serious. Don't be dumb or ignorant to what's going on over there. Make it focus on what's going on over there too, because even though it's going on over there, somebody over here has a connection to what's going on over there. So
what the hell is that?
You know what I'm saying?
How do you do the thumbs up on your face, Wayne?
What's up with that? A thumbs up keeps coming up next to your face. It's not there now. It's weird. It's animated. It's a white thumbs up.
You have to go back and watch it. It was twice.
Right in the stars of your flag behind you.
Yeah. It showed a thought bubble with the thumbs up.
The other side. The black stars, or the white stars on the black background.
You'll have to watch the replay.
Yeah.
Man, if something hit me in my head. All right. I gotta check that out. Y'all scaring me now.
About 127, 128.
Right, yeah.
Okay. All right, y'all
somebody says the Facebook.
You're gonna get scared if you play it back. Right. if you didn't do it.
I didn't do it. Okay. All right. Bet. All right. Last thoughts. I got to check this out real quick.
I want to talk to the Democrats that live in urban areas, because that's where most of you live in the cities. You're not real big country people. You like your services and everything else. I saw a study that's predicting that thousands of United States cities will be ghost towns by the year 2100. And I know that's 75 years away, but I'm telling you, it's these cities are going to go down because of Democrat policies. Businesses are fleeing in droves. You're going to have abandoned buildings everywhere. Just throwing that out there. Get your act together and look at what's really good for you. Not what makes you feel good, what's really good for you. If that makes any kind of sense.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody said put my thumbs up, but.
All right. Well, hey, I'm just going to give my last thoughts quick, and then we can do more thumbs up. Folks, first, Wayne Hutch, great week shows. Audience, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you share the content. That's how we get the reach. On a serious note, this year is going to be one of the most historic years that we're ever going to see. And I was thinking the other day, what's our October surprise going to be? Financial collapse? Is it going to be a war? But on this show, we try to bring you the important topics and give them context why it's important with these dangerous times that we're in. We don't get distracted by shiny objects or that the Babylon Bee made a funny image about Vivek. And that's why you tune into the show. We're going to bring you facts. We're going to bring you the information and encourage you to look into it yourself. So that's why.
That was kind of funny, though.
I thought that video was great and Vivek loved it. So
yeah,
I don't know why people were wasting airtime talking about it. And then on a personal note, say a prayer for my dad. He's got 2 stents going in his legs today. So I'm heading down to go make sure he made it out of surgery here in a bit. So
good for you.
Thanks a lot.
And I did talk to my mom last night. As I heard her getting off the phone, she told somebody, "That's my son." So
let me give you guys a little bit of advice because you still have parents left. Go there and ask them questions because they're the only ones that know.
Right.
I've got 10 or 15 pictures, framed pictures, some of photographs in my house. I don't know who the hell any of these people are. I'm serious. And some of them are my family. I don't know who they are. And there's nobody left to ask.
Right.
Great.
And when you look at our futures, I remember watching something over the weekend and then I came in here on Monday. I was like, in 100 years, nobody's going, no, we were even here.
That's true.
Unless we were somewhere in the history books, and even that, we really don't talk too much about George Washington or Thomas Jefferson or anything like that. So we really don't even bring them up. You know, the only thing that will happen is they were cursed the day that we were born because of all the debt and stuff that, or how the country was left. They'll say those people back there. They might not remember our names or anything, but
yeah,
that's what happened.
We tried, kids.
We did. We tried.
Still trying.
Yeah.
So we're going to take this weekend and we're just going to check out a few things. And it's supposed to snow tomorrow. Did you see it's supposed to snow in your area?
A couple, 3 inches. Yeah. Maybe a little more.
Yeah. So be leery, be wary. Make some chili.
Went to Lowe's and got a snow shovel yesterday.
Yeah.
Guys, I got this big snowblower in my garage. I've been just waiting.
Those are fun.
I'm like, man, that thing will like clear my yard and hit my neighbor's driveway. If I
my neighbor has one. He does half the neighborhood, man.
Right? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. You get out there and you're like, screw it.
I wish you get the driveway. I got a 6-car driveway.
Oh.
He gets the sidewalk though.
Oh yeah.
Is it a driving thing or a push?
Push, self-propelled.
Okay.
Yeah, same with mine. It's self-propelled, but it's like a tank. It's huge. It's got like heated hand grips. And
I saw one with a plastic windshield enclosure.
Oh yeah.
Like
well, it's funny is I would have never bought one that nice, but I had a rental property the guy trashed and he left it there and it was beat up. So I had somebody fix it up. And I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. But I can go do 3 neighbors' driveways in like 20 minutes.
I bet it's fun in Minnesota, man.
Oh yeah. Well, like I'm in.
Don't ever replace the shear pins with bolts, though.
Yeah, it'll screw up your gears, man.
You'll lock something up and hurt yourself. Yeah.
Right.
There you have it, John. Men and their toys. Y'all have a great weekend. God bless.